Thank you for tuning in and welcome back, team. In today's episode of Real Estate Advice, you'll learn about buying a house solo and 6 tips you can start with right now. My name is Andrew Finney, your real estate geek. If you need help finding a top agent where you live, or if you simply want to drop me a line to say hello, my contact info is below. If you haven't already done so, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel now and like this video. Thank you. Okay, team, so let's talk about this. So what does buying a home solo mean? That means that maybe you're not in a committed relationship right now, that you are going to be buying this home yourself. And in fact, it's pretty interesting because I was recently reading an article on Zillow that was talking about the median US home actually takes about 6 years. 6 years longer for a single person to be able to buy that home compared to a married couple or somebody buying it with a significant other. So it's really important to know these 6 steps that I'm going to go over today so you can go ahead and plan for your success and begin planning today. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is actually check your credit. You need to snap your credit in the check, you need to whip it into shape, and anything that's over a 640 is really going to be beneficial. So go to sources like creditkarma.com, and even though Credit Karma is more of a benchmark, kind of like a Zillow's estimate for a property value, it's not 100% accurate, but it gives you a ballpark range of where you're at right then and there. If you need to work on your credit, go ahead and start doing that and make sure that you improve your credit score, because the better your credit score, the better your mortgage rate's going to be, and the more loan programs you're going to be able to qualify for that could assist you in purchasing your first home. So it's really important to get that knocked out, number one. The second thing is to actually meet with a trusted real estate advisor and better understand the home buying process. By getting this done well before you plan on buying a home, let's say somewhere between 3 months to 12 months and ahead of time, then you have a very good idea of a home buying process. I often get asked, people reach out to me on Zillow from other states or here locally in Las Vegas, and they say, Andrew, we're not planning on buying a home for like 6 or 12 months. Is it too soon to meet with you and talk? I say, absolutely not. It's actually the best thing that you could do, because by sharing some time in the office and going over the home buying process, you're going to be a lot better prepared to buy your home successfully when we help you find your new place when the time is right for them. So it's really important to go ahead and establish that relationship. If you need help finding a top agent where you live, simply let me know. My contact info is below. So the third thing that you want to start considering are like your mortgage options. So there are definitely some do's to ensure that you get the best mortgage rates possible. One of those to-dos is actually making sure all your information that appears on your credit report is accurate, and correct any errors on your credit report and start getting an idea of the home loan process. But number one is actually just checking out that credit score, making sure that everything that's being reported is accurate and there's nothing wrong with your credit, and if there is, to go ahead and get it fixed. If your credit score could use a boost, then consider giving yourself a few months to pay down some debt and clean things up before you start your home search. By doing that, you're going to be able to get a higher credit score over time, right? So if you, again, going back to that 3 to 12 month time frame of going out and buying a house, if you needed to work on your credit score a little bit, let's say you're like 580 and you're trying to get to a 640 so you can get better rates and better loan programs, that makes a lot of sense. But plan it out and go ahead and start paying down any credit card debts or anything that you have going on, based upon the advice and counsel of the trusted real estate advisor with you. So the third thing is to always pay your bills on time and avoid unnecessary new lines of credit. Every time you apply for credit, you're going to get what's called a hard inquiry. Every hard inquiry you get drops your score a little bit. And if you have a credit card, let's face it, if you have a credit card, you might be enticed to use it, even though it's not like money in the bank, it's borrowed money, but you're paying on that borrowed money. And if you get yourself into a trap with the credit cards, it can actually hurt you down the road. It's best just to have a credit cards for like emergency purposes only, and to always pay off the credit cards whenever you use them every single month to help you build your credit score. Now, the fourth tip here seems like a no-brainer, and it's to start saving, especially if you're going to be buying a house solo. That's today's topic. A lot of people will think to themselves, oh, well, I'll start saving whenever I meet somebody. I'll start saving whenever I get married. I'll start saving, this here, there, or everywhere. When the moon and the stars and the sun align, I guess they'll start saving. That's not really realistic, and it's really not probable. So here's what the best thing to do is. The best thing is if you want to buy a home, if you want to achieve the American dream of home ownership, then start saving and start planning now. And regardless of what happens in the future with meeting your significant other, go ahead and do this for you. And because it's right now, it's your life. Why not build up yourself right now and be confident and comfortable with who you are in your current situation, and go ahead and improve yourself with your own life goals and make sure that you're taking care of yourself. I can't say enough about that. Really take care of yourself here. If you're wondering how much home you can afford, it's a great question. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link down to my website, andrewfinneyteam.com, to the mortgage calculator. Go ahead and play with that calculator. If you have some questions about that and how it works, please let me know, because it's going to give you a very good idea of what a monthly mortgage is going to look like. And just to be clear, when you're talking about a monthly mortgage, you're looking at your principal, your interest, your property taxes, and your homeowner's insurance. The fifth thing that you should plan for, even though it's not part of your mortgage, is if the community or if the home that you want to purchase is in an HOA, a homeowners association community, plan for that for your monthly budgeting purposes. I've done another video about how much home can you afford and how to come up with those numbers. So I'll go ahead and pop this link up right now so you can go ahead and check out that video after you finish this one. So the next thing that you want to do is actually have a strong idea about number 5, which is building your savings goal into your budget. And this is really interesting because not too long ago I was talking about some ways that you could start saving now for a down payment. And it's pretty interesting. So if you're renting right now, and let's say that your rent's like $1,000 a month, right? And let's say that you want to buy a home, and the home mortgage, after you use the mortgage calculator, says that it's going to be like $1,500–$1,600 a month. What could you do right now that would help you plan for that monthly mortgage and know what that feels like at the same time as saving money for your down payment? Think about it for a moment. I know it's going to come to you. Okay, so in case you're wondering what it was, this is what you can do. If you have a $1,000 a month mortgage right now and you want to plan for a $1,500 a month mortgage, what you can do is simply save and put $500 extra every single month into a savings account. Make that savings account the holy grail of your account so it does not get touched. It's never, ever, ever, ever touched, because that is your home savings fund for your down payment, your buyer closing cost, and you'll go ahead and be able to be prepared for that. In addition to a down payment, and I'm going to make this comment based upon some feedback that I got from our team and our community recently. We'll plan for your buyer closing costs as well. Buyer closing costs generally range between 2% and 4% of a sales price. So let's break it out in some easy math here. If you have a $300,000 home and you're going to plan for your buyer closing costs, which is different than your down payment, and if it was going to be 2%, that's $6,000. If it was going to be 4%, that's $12,000 that you need to be prepared for on top of your down payment. Don't worry, there are other first-time home buying programs and many home buying programs out there and loan types that can assist you with what's called down payment assistance programs or home is possible programs. Goes back to why I mentioned meeting with an agent so early on, even if you're not ready to buy right now, 6 to 12 months or 3 to 12 months out, so you get a better idea of your options and you can start planning with factual information. Because what happens is a lot of people that I talk to, they have been racking themselves. It's like they've been running themselves over coals. Just nervous anxiety, not really knowing. Google. Ideally, hopefully they land on my channel because they'll get the straight scoop here. But they just don't know, and they have this massive fear. So I always like to tell you, don't worry about fear. Fear, all it is false evidence appearing real. And how do you make false evidence appearing real disappear? You make it disappear with knowledge and confidence so that you're comfortable, and you gain your confidence by knowing what the process looks like, knowing what you're doing, and having a strong game plan and plan of attack going into buying a home. This is something you can do right now. So that's important to know. Threw out a couple of suggestions there about how to build your savings goal into your budget. Now, number 6, let's talk about doing your homework. Now, doing your homework on buying a home is really important. You need to identify, number 1, like any kind of home buying resources, housing and urban development, real estate channels like mine, videos like mine, Google articles, some tips that are on Zillow, some tips that are on realestate.com. I mean, there's a host of great information out there. Do your research and start understanding what the home buying process looks like. Start building up your retinue of home buyer resources and saving them underneath a special bookmark or folder on your computer or phone, and go ahead and referring back to that about where you are in the process and what your trajectory is and your timeline is to buy your new place. The second thing is to know your rights. And whenever I say know your rights, it's really, really important, because there is no place in this world, in my opinion, just my personal and professional opinion, there is no place, zero place, for any kind of racism or discriminatory practice based upon anything, whether it's sexual orientation, whether it's race, whether it's religious preferences, whatever have you. There is no time, none, that anybody should be racist with another person. We're all the same. Whenever I hold my hand up, I have 5 fingers, and even if you don't, if I cut myself, I bleed red, and I bet you we're the same right there. So we already have more in common than we don't. So just think about that. We're all people. Know your rights. No one can discriminate on you based upon your sexual orientation, your gender, your religious beliefs, or anything. The only discriminating factor there is in real estate and in business is your cash green. And how much cash do you have? That's it. Just making sure that you get financially qualified. The rest of the stuff, absolutely none, and there's no place for it. The third thing is, though, going back to point 2 here, which is finding a trusted real estate advisor. If you need help, just let me know. I'm happy to help you. Hit me up in an email. It's best to do that via a direct email to me. My email is down below, and I'll put it up again at the end of this video in a few minutes. So the fourth thing that you want to do is actually find a strong local loan officer. Now, with finding a strong local loan officer, if you've already met your trusted real estate advisor, a top performing agent is already going to be working with top performing loan officers. The more people that your trusted real estate advisor knows that can help you, from top loan officers to great home inspectors to home warranty companies to handy people to help you whenever you go into negotiating the repairs on your new home, to service providers after you buy and close on your new home that you may need in the future, the better and better your experience is going to be in buying your new home. As a trusted real estate advisor here in Las Vegas, Nevada, I make it a point to have already sniffed out and know who the best players are in town, so I can come up with a strong team to present to you, the buyer, and give you peace of mind, clarity, comfort, and confidence every single step of the way, so that all your questions get answered. And it's pretty funny, normally when I meet with people, they say, Andrew, I didn't even know I had that question until you brought it up, and you've already answered it. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. It really does a lot to remove our anxiety and fear, which again is just false evidence appearing real, and you simply put knowledge there and it takes out the fear. So that's number 4. So number 5 is not to underestimate any kind of rate savings you might get. There's different type of home as possible programs that can assist you with down payment assistance. Now, of course, no one is going to give you something for free. So where's the trade-off with a down payment assistance or a home as possible program? It's the rate. And if it's the difference between buying a home or not buying a home, then guess what? It might make sense to go ahead and take a slightly higher rate to go ahead and get into a home before mortgage interest rates go even higher and home appreciation increases even more. It's a little bit of a trade-off there, but if that's your circumstance, then have your money ready to go for either the down payment or your buyer closing costs, and get some down payment assistance or home as possible programs working for you to help you go ahead and bite off on your first home. So, but don't underestimate that if you're able to use the same type of programs to buy down the rate, it might be more beneficial to you too, depending on how much money you have in the bank. Okay? So number 6 is, if you're flying solo out there and you're shopping for a home, bring a friend. There's nothing wrong with bringing a friend. Bring your friend, bring your brother, bring your sister, bring your mother, bring your father. I don't care. A lot of first-time home buyers that I meet, they'll bring somebody with them. And depending on the age, it's normally their parents or some relatives they might have here in Las Vegas. Or maybe it's just a friend. But in a lot of cases, with the younger first-time home buyers I work with, let's say like under 25, a lot of times their parents are with them, and I love it. And I love the fact that their parents are there supporting them and helping them buy their first home and looking out for them. I absolutely enjoy them being there, and it's nice because we get to know the whole family and we get to become friends and everything at the same time. But bring a friend, bounce your ideas off of it, get a second opinion. At the end of the day, though, this is your decision. So you're going to be the one that's paying the mortgage. You're going to be the one that's living in that house. So make sure it's right for you, as opposed to just listening to what everybody else says. In your heart of heart and mind of minds, if it's right for you, it's right for you. And if it's not, it's not. So make sure that you choose the right home, okay? So the 7th thing that falls underneath doing your homework that you want to do is consider what might happen if you relocate or if you do meet your significant other. Have a plan of what you're going to do with your house. If you relocate, are you going to sell the house? Are you going to rent the house? But hey, you know what? for today's video, we're talking about buying a home solo. So why don't we just keep it short and keep it simple? And if you have questions about how to consider different things about relocation, let's just leave that there as a thought and a question to have in the back of your mind. But let's get it through step number 1, which is helping you find your new home. Now is the fun part of this video. Tell me what you got out of this video, what was most impactful to you in the comment section below. Was it step 1, checking your credit? Or was it step 2, talking about finding a trusted real estate advisor as early as 3 to 12 months before you intend to purchase? Or was it number 5, talking about how to build a savings goal into your monthly budget to plan for your home buying journey? Let me know what you're thinking and what you got out of this video, along with any of your other savvy buying a house solo tips in the comment section below. As promised, I'm going to go ahead and put my contact information up now. If you have any questions or you need help finding a top agent where you live, simply drop me a line, even if you just want to say hello. I love to hear from you. Now, if you haven't already done so, I'm going to ask you to do 3 things. Number 1, please subscribe to this channel. Number 2, please like this video. Number 3, please share this video around with someone you know is going to be able to help. Thank you so much for watching today, team. Looking forward to coming back to you next Monday with another episode of Real Estate Advice. In between now and then, I'm wishing you and yours a lifetime full of love, wealth, abundance, and happiness. See you soon.